schedule was very tight. You know, to do something of this stature or this scale, you would normally need about a year and a half to sort of plan it correctly. We had about 8 months.
So today, the first day of rehearsals, the day has finally come for us to introduce the cast.
It's much bigger than any other production in Saigon. I think it's running now. This must be the biggest they've ever done.
They're a fantastic cast, very hard-working cast, who've put everything into it, and I think it shows. It sounds fantastic.
It's heartbreaking. It's true to a true love story. And there's a vulnerability to it, and there's a strength to it.
Mic check. We're going for mic check. All right.
It's a roller coaster ride, really. The emotions change so fast, hindi ka mabobore.
How much check out tonight? My place, Dreamland. Yeah, hey, don't touch too much. Yeah, just come here and see her tonight. Yeah, just sit in her lap.
It's a Filipino production, and it's one of the best shows I ever seen in my life.
Some left and they'll all be here. I found this new girl.
It's very beautiful. I'm so proud. I have seen that in London. But seeing them here, it's a different feeling.
I thought the cast was particularly strong. I had seen the show in New York a number of years ago, and I thought this was, on balance, a better production.
Watching it tonight made me emotional.
The heat is on in Saigon. The girls are hot in hell. One of the pigs here will be Miss Saigon. God, the tension is high, not to mention the smell. When I was planning the show back in 1988 for the original London production, we decided that we would go on a worldwide tour. I mean, we knew that there would not be enough Asian talent in London, so we went from London to America, and then through Hawaii. We auditioned in San Francisco and Los Angeles, and then we went to Singapore, and came here and brought people in from Hong Kong. And in this very building, we actually finally found the solution to the show.
like coming full circle. I auditioned here for Miss Saigon at the rehearsal hall downstairs in the basement when I was 17 years old. Thank you.
You I cradled in my arms, you asking as little as you can. Little snip of a little man. I know I'd give my life for you.
From the success of the audition process, we managed to cast 13 Filipinos instead of one for the role of Kim, but we managed to cast, the female ensemble and the male ensemble at the very onset. And they comprised of the original Filipinos involved in the world premiere of Miss Saigon in London that opened in 1989.
SAIGON is a big part of our lives. 11, 10, 12 years ago when we auditioned, when we went to London, we were all wide-eyed and so happy to be part of the show.
Bata pa lang ako, napupunta pa lang sa school, movie pa lang Banana Q, nagsasaygon na siya.
The morning of the dragon room lit up the sea. The tiger we were talking was a paper beat. And the clear white meat was gone.
It was just so gratifying to find that as raw material, the people had both the vocal skills and, more importantly, they had the right feeling for the show.
Without the Filipinos, this show was impossible to be on stage in London when we started the show in 1999. There was no way that with Asian people singing and professional in England and in Europe, there was no way to put the show on stage. It's only because we found the place here and we found the Filipino singers and actors that we were able to have the show on in London.
Going on, preparations already ongoing to mount the production in Australia, to mount another production. You see, Saigon hardly moves. It spawns.
Steeds naar de slag, na een dag, stilte van een bruid. Je hoort mij
In 1996, we opened. I was in the cast of the ones that opened in Holland. So I stayed there for 3 years. Where I was doing Yvette and covered Kim, and then I joined this production.
Jij die ik in mijn armen hield, jij mag niet weten van de pijn. Sorry, papatay naman Dutch teacher ko.
I've done it in a lot of countries. And each time you do it, after the show, you go out and it's a first world country. It's America, it's London. But now you're around, the setting is here, Philippines.
12 years older. Mas masakit sa likod.
Slower to me.
Pag uwi ng bahay, medyo kailangan mag-rest. I'm very proud, very happy, very fulfilled as a performer. Being able to say, yeah, I've done it in London, I've done it in New York, and I've done it in Manila.
It's like when we did Les Miserables in Paris, you know. Suddenly you realize that the show is at home. And we always had the feeling that the show belongs to the Filipino people.
You probably recognize that as a tune from one of the most successful musicals in theater history, Miss Saigon. I'm Miriam Vilmaris, and I'm playing Kim in the Manila run of the musical. This tragic story between an American GI and a Vietnamese woman has captivated audiences around the world, from London to Germany to Holland to Australia. This show that made the world sit up and take notice of Filipino talent has finally come home and is playing right here at the CCP. I never really thought I'd see Saigon banners right here in front of this building, and yet, here we are. We started our run only 3 months ago, but judging from the way Filipino audiences have taken the musical to their hearts, the wait was worth it.
In a place that won't let us feel, in a life when nothing seems real, I have found you. I have found you. In a world that's moving too fast, in a world where nothing can last, I will hold you.
The seeds of the Manila staging of Saigon were planted in October of 1999 during the 10th year anniversary of the musical in London. Dong Alegre, the man who brought the show's original Filipino cast to the West End production, began discussions with producer Cameron McIntosh about the possibility of bringing the show to Manila.
I broached the idea of possibly doing Miss Saigon in concert in Manila as a tribute to the Filipino participation in the musical through the years, no? And he replied, why not do the real thing?
We've been hoping that for several years that we'd be able to bring the show here. I mean, with so many casts from here that have been around the world, they've all wanted the show to come to their home city and for their families to be able to go and see it. But it was about a year ago that Don said, look, there is a real possibility, and would I give the rights?
original stage production to Manila was an extremely expensive and complicated endeavor. And since this was going to be a world-class staging of the original, a top-notch production team and cast had to be assembled.
So would you line up, Russell, or...
Peter Lawrence, who directed the Broadway and U.S. regional touring versions of Saigon, was our director. Maggie Goodwin, who was part of the original London production, did the choreography. The high-tech set by Hungarian production designer Kentar was bought from the Stockholm production, loaded into container vans, and shipped to Manila. Lighting was by Swedish Michael Halbert, and sound was done by Australian Peter Grubb. A virtual United Nations of technical talent was assembled to put together this production. And of course, we had cast members flying in from all over the world to be part of this show. After all, half the cast members are Saigon veterans.
It had to be the original. I had never thought for a moment that my version of Saigon will succeed here in Philippine territory. The Filipino public has been so exposed to Saigon, at least the original version, for so long, since 1989, since it opened in Jerusalem. So I could not give them anything less.
Of life, conceived in hell and born in strife. Hi, I'm Miguel Rional, and I'm one of the 37 Filipinos in the cast of Miss Saigon, Manila. Like the other cast members, this wasn't the first time that I auditioned in this highly acclaimed musical. For some of us, it took as many as 7 tries before we got in. And trust me, walking through this door, when your turn comes, never gets easier.
We're going to learn a little bit of music all together. The heat is on in Saigon. It's the opening of the show. 1, 2, 3, 4. The heat is on in Saigon. The girls are harder than hell.
A lot of the guys came from all over the place. I mean, a lot of us came from London. There are guys who came from Broadway, from Stuttgart, from Germany, from Sydney.
Because I did the show in Holland for 3 years. I went to Holland for that. And then after that, I was an English teacher again. And then I auditioned in London because Dong emailed everybody to audition in London.
They called me in the Netherlands, the Cameron Macintosh office in London, if I would like to audition for Manila Saigon, if I would like to do it, and to meet Peter Lawrence. Ayun.
Namit mo siya?
Namit ko siya. Ayun, awa ng Diyos, naawa siya kasi nakita niya patay gutom ako.
Nabalitaan ko nga sa London before na Miss Saigon is coming to Manila. I said to myself, I'm gonna have to be part of it. Kasi it's the only time na makikita ng mga Filipinos yung anong ginagawa namin doon.
From most of the guys.
only problems that we had were an overwhelming number of people turned out here in the Philippines to audition. I think 900 showed up the first day of auditions. So we had a wealth of talent here, and what we had to do was to find the best types who could both sing and dance and act.
Anybody who was somebody in the local music scene, from Saigon veterans to up-and-coming talents, showed up for the Manila auditions.
You walk into an audition room where the panel don't know you. So you start from scratch. Walking into that room with Peter Lawrence, Guy Simpson, Maggie, and we don't know each other. So you're like, back to square one. So it was really, really scary. I haven't been to, and I've always hated auditions.
Let's do it again. Yeah, let's do it again. Then just add a little pushing.
Okay.
If you shout, I think you shout.
Okay. Was really scary. Then they call you back, then it gets a little easier. Then they call you back again, it gets a little easier. It's never really completely easy.
I got called back after the first day. So 5 days later, I was here again in this very hallway. I waited an hour before I was called in. I sang American Dream, and they told me to come back again. So 3 callbacks, and 3 weeks later, I still didn't know whether I'd made it.
Tagal-tagal na nga eh. I don't know what's gonna happen for today, but sana, yun na nga, sana makapasok na kami.
Among those who made it were 2 guys with absolutely no theater experience. Edward Bungalon is an ice skating coach from SM Megamall, and David Mala is a trader for the AFP's retirement and separation benefits system.
Actually, this is not my first time to audition for Miss Saigon. This is my 5th. I enjoy the company right now. Although, siyempre hindi mo pa rin maalis na minsan medyo parang na-intimidate ka ng, talagang siyempre, mga veteran na rin, ganyan. Pero it's nice working with them.
never planned to audition and to join Miss Saigon. And my friend encouraged me, and then second, scared ako because magagaling ang kasama ko. Best of Broadway, best of Germany, and so on. Maraming magaling sa kanila.
The casting team was also on the lookout for children to play the role of Tam, Chris's son.
Okay lang sa akin na pinutol yung buhok ko kasi lalaki si Tam. Pero mas gusto ko yung mahaba yung buhok ko kasi yung buhok ko hanggang bewang dati. Baby ba ako? Naging si tita ko yung ginagaya ko siya.
When we were choosing the Tams, there were several things. They had to be able to follow, direction, and we played games with them. And in fact, when you see them on stage, everything they do is a game. It's tough to find kids at that age who are extremely focused. So they're still magulo and malikot, but we have three kids who are very, very good and who are very still and very, they're very intelligent children.
Look, Toy, this is the sun. He has kept me alive. Now you see what I must tell you. No, let everything you say to me. Your buses are bouncing late. Not the word. Hot Saigon. You must be
Saigon. The girls are harder than hell. One of us here will be Miss Saigon. Gonna take them in high enough to mention the smell.
It's very exciting because, like you said, a lot of them are old, old hands. And some, and then we have new blood. Putting this company together is so exciting because they're learning from us, I'm sure, and also we're learning from them because they add something new to the show.
So, Margaret, we're calling Christine Marquez. We should call in Natalie Everett. Oh, and Menshu. We asked Menshu to come back, too. David, Mama, Miguel, Ariel. But you know what? Why don't we bring it in? Just the group. Okay? So if we could ask Raul to come in.
Girls are harder than hell. Hi, my name is Juno Frasso, and I'm part of the ensemble of the Miss Saigon Manila. Even before auditions were held, our technical team was readying the place where the musical is going to be staged, the cultural center of the Philippines. By now, this institution is over 30 years old, having been built in 1968. Because of this, certain changes have to be made to accommodate all the new sets and equipment that have to be brought in.
No, we have to use. I think listen, we're going to use every inch downstage that we can use.
Before anything arrived anywhere, actually we were already working with the infrastructure of the theater. Infrastructure meaning that we wanted the theater to be prepared to everything that we will put in it. That was a daily carpentry, welding. It was rebuilding a set, cutting it, and then making it bigger, or totally changing a set according to what this production required.
The main other difficulty for us with the theatre was cabling, trying to get cables from one area to another, and especially all our main cables from the desk area down to stage. We had big core drills brought in, and we drilled holes through walls, and we've gone over the ceiling of all the offices downstairs, so all our cabling's hidden, and that was a big job.
We've changed a lot of things already, which will eventually belong to the CCP. And these improvements or rehabilitations actually were also programmed in such a way that the CCP will benefit as a theater?
I met nga the director yesterday, si Peter Lawrence, and when Lisa introduced me to him, sabi niya, so you're the stage manager for some, sabi niya, oh, you'll be doing a lot of work. Ang naisagot ko lang sa kanya I'm shaking.
One of the challenges the production team had to face was figuring out ways to stage a first-class musical like Miss Saigon in what you would call third-world conditions. Electric power, or the occasional lack of it, was one problem.
Power supply in Manila is sporadic sometimes, and we can't afford to have power glitches here, so we have our own generators for power to run the show here. So all the lights, all the sound, all the technical equipment on the show is run by our own generators.
Even if all of Metro Manila had a brownout, this show will run.
Another problem wasn't so much technical as space-related. The Manila Saigon Orchestra employed 37 musicians, 33 from the Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra, and 4 session musicians. That's 3 more than in any other Saigon production.
The orchestra for this production was so big that they couldn't all fit in the orchestra pit. So we've moved 3 percussionists and a drummer into another room at the rear of the stage. And then they see the musical director with video monitors, and they're set up with headphones and so on.
Hindi kami kasya sa pit, kaya nakakulong kami dito sa kwarto.
This Western-style orchestra made use of Eastern instruments for some of the songs. Here's a sample.
Chestnut ratter, crotales, the morning of the dragon ginagamit, cricket, tidal, itong instrumento nito, Mark 3, lumalabas sa Sun and Moon. Individual. Mark 3.
As part of the team's emphasis on quality, it was essential that the orchestra and the voices of the cast be heard as clearly and as evenly as possible throughout the main theater. These mics, one for each of the 37 members of the orchestra, cost $1,000 each. And that's not even counting the mics that we as actors use.
I'll show you the one thing I have to do before each show. Oh. You never knew there was so much involved with a microphone. And I have no hair. So it's a little more difficult.
Pa lang ng mic, talent na. Ayun ba yan? Binabayaran.
We have invested about 150 wireless microphones and the batteries that run them, We buy them by, crate load. Because normally, a normal production would probably use a battery for 3 or 4 performances. So this production only uses a battery per performance. And that's already discarded.
Mic check. Mic check. Have you done your mic check? Right. Mic check.
Mic check.
Have you guys done your mic check? Yes, I have the mic check.
The American dream. Name what you want and it's there. The American dream. I'm Annalyn Bantug and I'm part of the ensemble. I've been in theater for 3 years now, but I've never worked on a set this grand or this high-tech. Sanay ako sa mga set na tinutulak. Here, we not only had to remember lyrics, remember choreography, but we also had to remember to get out of the way.
as you can see behind me, the scenery that arrived yesterday. The sound rig is being put together in Australia. The lighting rig is being assembled. The costumes are on a boat at the moment. They'll be here in the middle of June. There's a lot of musical instruments on their way here. So we're now at the stage where we are preparing those items that aren't readily available here and bringing them in from all over the world.
Oh, God. You know, we don't talk of crates. We talk of container loads. All right. Just bringing the set over from Stockholm. Container loads of costumes, props, small set pieces, you know, will now have to come from another part of the world, which is Australia.
Get dressed on stage, I'm raising cash, and it tastes like John's sweet. I say it's time to pass. Tonight these little buses, there's a worth less and
August was set up time. Yeah, August. Oh, that was a 9 a.m. to 12 midnight type of days. No, for how long? Yes, 2 months straight. No day off, no nothing. We, not because of anything, but because there were just too many things to put up.
It's an old set, so we have to refinish it. Like this wall, we have to change the wallpaper. We have to change the wallpaper and refinish the wood finish, the wood varnish. This acrylic glass, it was broken, so we have to change it into a new one, but we still have to make it old. This metal work, it arrived with only a wire. So we have to make it more stable. So we add on a more stable material like a square bar. But it arrived only with a wire just to support this bottle. Yeah. All the props, even the pictures, the wallpaper. The entire floor was, you know, made on top of an existing stage of the CCP. We make another flooring on top.
This set is more technologically sophisticated than the sets used in the London and Broadway productions. As you can see, there are no tracks. The movements are controlled by a computer using radio signals. This stage floor has to be perfectly level. That's why we had to install this new floor over the existing one, because the smallest bump, like a dropped coin, could cause the sets to stop.
welcome to Dreamland!
There was one time, which is basically our first major entrance at GI. It's called Dreamland, where the set turns around and it reveals the bar. Well, the set was about to turn, but it stopped. So, and we had to continue with the scene. I mean, it's the start of the play. So what we had was like a street party. We started bringing the chairs out into the set and onto the stage. But we had it like a street party. You know, like you usually have it in Malate, where you have tables and chairs out in the streets. Well, that's exactly what we did. We brought the tables out, set them out where they were supposed to be if the set had turned around, and we just had fun.
Ako yung wagon operator. Lahat ng mga set na nandito sa baba, lahat kinokontrol. Ako yung nagko-control. CPU niya, yung computer niya, nandito. Actually, ito yung pinakang CPU niya. Ito ang mga drivers. Meron kaming dalawang driver sa forward. Ito yung sa rotation, yung gulong. Basically, ito yung antena na tumatanggap ng signal sa computer ko sa taas.
ito yung tumatanggap ng signal na binibigay ko dun sa taas. Ito yung lahat ng wagon may tigitiis ang ganito.
Because the stage here is bigger, this is also a bigger set. Everyone, especially those who'd done the show before, had to get used not only to the size of the set, but to its layout.
It is very different compared to what we had in obviously in Sydney and in London. It's much more of a simpler set. There's no running around, you know. With us, it's like it's an activity. It's like a whole, parang, you know, we've gone to the gym. Like, for me, it's that. And whenever I do scenes like Tony's death or anything like that, I am sweating buckets.
The first time kong bumalik doon sa embassy kasi nung gumalaw, talagang yung kasama ko na puti, talagang natakot kasi parang nasa aeroplano na may nag-i-air pocket na, boom, wow, ano to, you know, pero safe naman siya.
Highlights is the American Dream number, where a real 1969 Cadillac comes out on stage, a car that didn't come with a set.
The Swedish set came in with a Ford Fairlane because the designer felt that the lines of the Ford Fairlane were better than a Cadillac. But our producer, Dong, said that, you know, the Filipinos don't know what a Ford Fairlane is. And, you know, the whole concept of the American dream, I mean, that's where the Cadillac comes out in. The American dream, I mean, probably up to today is a Cadillac. So people went out to look for me, mostly from the Vintage Car Club. And they came back with actually two choices. Danny Winnicky came back with this white Cadillac, which was, I think he found somewhere in Cavite. It was actually dumped. And I actually saw the photo of it in an empty lot, you know, like it was just dumped there. The problem was that it was in really bad shape. This vehicle, if you really take a good look under it, this is all kalawang. We had to really restore it, have it painted several times.
And of course, there's one of the most anticipated parts of the play, the embassy scene with the helicopter.
The set here is quite different in that. The hardest thing, I guess, going through the helicopter here. On the Broadway set, it's just the front half of a helicopter, so the guys all just jump out the back. Here, it's actually a whole helicopter.
As if working with an extremely high-tech set wasn't difficult enough, there were added complications.
Ano yung computers? Iba yung language niya, in Swedish or Norwegian. Kaya medyo mahirap intindihin. Tapos, usually, pag naka-headset ka, pag wala masyadong problema yung show, okay lang, they talk in English. Pero, pag nagkakaroon na ng problema, kung ano-ano na yung kanya-kanya ng usapan. May nagtatagalog, siyempre kami, para mabilis yung response. May English, may Norwegian, may Swedish, may Australian, halu-halunan.
But when everything's going smoothly, as it does most of the time, all you guys out in the audience see is a technological marvel.
People. The first few weeks were kind of chaotic.
Follow my example. When you see a crowd ahead, it's time to show your class.
We were bringing about close to about 50 people. So for like about 2 weeks, we were trying to sort out their hotel requirements, their travel arrangements. July 22, we picked up 22 people at the airport.
At different times?
At different times.
And we were only 4 bodies doing all of that.
Yeah, we had to, hire extra vans, be people on standby the whole day because people were coming in as early as, let's say, in the morning, and then another one at 4 o'clock, another one at 6 o'clock, all the way until like midnight.
Yeah, left face. Yes. Good morning. A little early, isn't it? Yes, hi.
All extra much that looks plastic and green. I'll be the church top to start making bright lights. If you want to die in bed, forget about your karma.
Turning a different direction would bring you face to face with a different accent. 13 nations were represented in the entire team. Bringing everybody together was like organizing a mini Olympics.
It's the biggest in terms of cast. That is, there are 50 in the cast here, and normally there are 45 in the cast because we have 3 additional acros we normally don't have, and we've expanded the cast because we have a bigger set.
The foreign members had sickness almost every week when they first arrived because of maybe change of altitude, change of food that they were eating.
But for a lot of the Pinoys in the cast, the first rehearsal day was like a reunion. When we started rehearsing, we were in this room 6 days a week, 8 hours a day, often rehearsing a single number for several days. For example, the morning of the dragon took us 3 days.
Necessary for a team to be formed, for all of us to become familiar with one another and to be able to work together. Because ultimately, because the show is so big, nobody can afford to solo flight, and we have to depend on one another to make the show work.
We began the whole rehearsal process by showing videotapes and talking. And the videotapes were documentary films of what the war was actually like.
And when we were singing or learning the music, they were reminding us of certain films or certain clips that we had seen to help us get into the feel of the music and to help us understand exactly what was going on in Vietnam.
mga call times, no? Sa atin, mga pag nag-call ng 6 o'clock, isisimula ng 6:30, ganyan. So sa kanila, pag sinabi ng 6 o'clock, talagang 6 o'clock. Pag matatapos ng 8 o'clock or 11, eksakto, tapos na yun. Pag may lumagpas, yung overtime pay na yun.
After 6 weeks in this rehearsal hall, we finally moved to the CCP stage, completed sets, lights, and sound. A week and a half later, we performed in front of an audience for the first time.
If you want to die in bed, follow my example. When you see a cloud ahead, it's time to show your class. Hit the doors before they make a target of your
The main thing about a new show like this is it's a new cast with new chemistry. That's what we're always looking for. I'm not looking to repeat something. I'm looking to create something new with a new idea, new staging, and new chemistry. And as a result, it feels fresh and alive.
Why was I born of a race that makes only a right and takes entrepreneurs? Me, I belong in a place where man sets his price and you pay and he's yours. I should be American, where every promise lands, and every businessman knows where he stands. Like that bank ahead that I roam, cross that ocean that's white with home, to the place that my heart America. America.
You have to convince them at every show that what you're seeing is something brand new that has never been done before at that particular performance. Because, you know, in the theater, the only thing we have to sell is the live event. That's it.
You grab your chance and punch ahead. Go where people win. Heaven's there. Oh, no. You need a visa to get in.
I'm Charmaine Tulali. I'm in the SAIGON ensemble, and that's just a sample of the more complex choreography we had to do for the show. Most of you would know the lyrics to the songs in the musical by heart, but what other people don't realize is that SAIGON has a lot of dancing. In fact, a lot of fantastic singers didn't pass the auditions because they couldn't dance well enough.
There, and push. Off, and stick, and pull up on all the little changes. What's happening is, the body's going, and you're landing in very deep again. So you have to pull up with very high heels. Yeah? So all of that, all of this, and shoot, and pull, and down, and up, and down. Yes? Pull up, stop, down here, back down, all of this, yes.
Goodwin, who was involved in the original London production, taught us the choreography. Under her eagle eyes, we had to get all the steps down perfectly. I've had no theater experience. I'm a jazz dancer, so the choreography was the easiest for me to learn. But not everyone in the cast is a born dancer.
I love choreography, but choreography doesn't love me. That's the problem. That's why you notice in the American Dream they made Easy Driver.
Yeah,
which requires a lot of dancing. Right on.
When Maggie left after opening night, we were placed under the care of Farah Isidro Genuino and Andy Alves.
Okay. I just come down before I sing. So I'm not watching them. No.
So you're
Sino slave drive mo siya? Okay.
Both, especially Farah, had to know the movements of all the characters in the musical.
You said you'd fill my place up, yes, boss. Well, they're coming, boss. That's the work you have, right? Right away, boss.
It's a hard job because you're actually memorizing tracks of about more than 30 people, the tracks of and the blockings of more than 30 people. So like Farah has to both memorize the female and male tracks and blockings, I mean.
Hey, run away. First ring and spring. Don't be alone, you can come. You're so extra green. That reason to the singing on.
Well, we have to make it look fresh. We have to feel like we're doing it the first time, all the time.
I often tell them that it's make it look like it's your last performance ever, so that there's always that fire and dedication and passion to the show.
The production has its share of scene stealers. These three guys elicited oohs and ahs during the Morning of the Dragon sequence. Director Peter Lawrence and choreographer Maggie Goodwin were so impressed by the Street Boys, Maynard, Nico, and Sherwin, that they were made a part of the ensemble even though they'd had no theater experience.
Basta nag-audition lang kami, tapos yung ginawa sa amin, pinagsayaw kami. First pinagsayaw kami, tapos pinakanta kami. Tapos siguro, sige, mag-tumbling na lang kayo, parang gano'n. Tapos nag-tumbling naman kami. Nagustuhan naman nila, kami nila Maggie, tsaka nila Peter Lawrence. Tapos ang naalala namin na sinabi nila sa amin, yun lang. After that, yun lang, thank you. There's nothing we can say. Yun lang. So hindi namin alam kung compliment o ano, o tawagan na lang kayo, ganun ba. Tapos yun, awa naman nung tinulungan kami, nasa taas, ng lightman, ni Lord na papasok kami rito sa Miss Saigon. In
constant training sa amin to. Hindi lang sa acting, hindi lang sa pagsasayaw, kundi rin pati sa pagkanta. So maganda rin tong training para sa amin.
I don't think in any production of Miss Saigon has there ever been a trio of acrobats that tumbled in sync the way they do every day, the way these three do. And so I think Maggie Goodwin, our choreographer, asked them to do a simple routine of, cartwheel, whatever, land, face front. They did it in sync, landed at the same time, and had time to spare. So she's like, add another one of this, add another one of that. And they kept delivering and exceeding her expectations and everybody else's.
Backstage, 20 in the office. Then there are the advertising guys, the cast. All in all, the production of Miss Saigon employs over 200 people, most of them hired locally. That's as many people as some local corporations employ.
I'm disgraced. I can't get ahead. There's nothing I've said. I've peace here and back. That's all they'll pay.
I have the biggest department. I have 24 people under me.
Sana mamaya. Mamaya.
At any one day, we show around 500 to 600 costume pieces. At any one scene, there could be like 200. That includes G-strings and sacks and all of that. But the visible ones, you'd go around 200 to 300 costume pieces for a particular scene. These are locally made. Ang problema namin with the ones on stock was that the local girls, the ones we have here, have very small feet, like 5.5. And those from Australia are rather big. So a lot of them were made here. This is a quick change buckle. So you don't have to go through that. You just hook it up and it's on. And then just take it out when you're in a hurry. They have to be rubber soled. We cannot take the risk of them slipping on stage. So everything, no matter how cheap the shoes are, they have to be rubber soled.
Let me go, John, I can't leave her.
These are authentic flak jackets in 69. To find the 1969 type of flak jackets was really a big headache on my part during pre-prod. We had it altered, put sandbags in them, para lang hindi naman lumilipad. Put sandbags on them, found them in Clark. Hats were bought in Australia, the Vietnamese embassy. So, though we have the same or similar, it's not authentic.
I've got the quickest costume change in the whole play. In the second act, I have to change from this to this in 15 seconds. Impossible to do without the dressers.
And then we would run. From that scene, she would run here to this side and would take off the pants again, the out dye, put on a GR shirt in 10 seconds flat. How fast it should be.
What makes changing costumes difficult sometimes is that you've got to change your hair along with your clothes.
Paki-last check yung buhok, please. Paki-spray lang para
Valdez, he uses 2 to 3 wigs. He uses a wig for every character changes.
Let me stop for a bit. This was my greatest hit. Miss Saigon and her crown, I made queen of the town.
For the whole production, I have about 30 to 35 wigs, but every performance, we use about a dozen wigs for all the characters being played in the show. You know? This is the American Dream wigs. This came from Australia. It's made in Australia, and its fiber is so delicate. That's why it entails extra care. Meaning to say, we wash it in ethyl alcohol solution to get rid of the spray net, the gels, and the setting lotion, and then we soak it for half an hour in balsam, and then we bake. After drying it, we set it, and then we bake it in a big wig oven. This is how it looks when it's already set and it's ready for baking. We bake it here inside for 30 minutes. The character of Ellen, which is being played by Lisa Katz, also wears a wig. This is set in hot rollers, and it's also made of Kanekalon fiber. So every time she uses this, some of the fibers get freeze off or very unruly. So every time we have problems with the fibers, especially if it's synthetic, we give like you people out there have hot oil. Also wigs have their own hot oil. This is what we call the fiber steamer.
If you think Miss Saigon's special effects are confined to the set, take a look at Tui's makeup.
Yeah, these are the UV reactive makeup that we use for the Tui ghost character. No, we call it UV reactive because this kind of makeup reacts on UV light. Kasi on stage, ang effect nito is that it really gives the face the glow. Kasi if we use ordinary makeup, hindi siya magre-react sa UV lighting kasi ginagamit nga on stage is the UV light. Nakafocus dun sa mukha ni Tui.
In Act 2, there's a scene where Tui's ghost comes back to haunt Kim. That's what this glowing UV reactive makeup is for. Sometimes, though, Robert adds something to his makeup that's not quite regulation.
And there's this one scene where he comes in and he's very serious and he comes to take Kim back and they were promised to be married and he's, you know, very intense and he's like Bobby De Niro, you know, he's going to blow somebody's head off or something, you know. And he'll come into the scene and then you'll look real close and you'll see that he's got like some goopy stuff hanging from his ears and from his nose.
and he spent time for those goof offs. I mean, like he would roll toilet paper, wet it, stick it to his skin so it looks like a really enlarged mole. Then he'd make it up black. Of course, the audience doesn't see it because they only see his right side. But he has like
very
six of
dramatic
those.
moment in the show.
And the rest of the cast is not beyond getting even.
Ginawa namin kay Robert, yung isang linya niya uma-adlib kami. Sabi niya yung Disney Maya has just been found. And he was presenting Kim to us, saying this is a whore. Kami mga soldiers na. So normally, we would just stand there and go, we're mad. Isang show, sabi ko, tara ganito yung gawin natin. Pagkasabi niyang, Disney Maya has just been found, gawin natin, she hid the day we closed the bus. Robert na, ayun, nag-crack up. Sabi na, kumunod siya.
My friend, it's time. Her face betrays her crime. She must pay. Tear her for the show.
Production, but all these hard-working people are here to make sure that what the audience sees night after night is really a world-class production.
There's a big spoolook inside you. I will rip it out of your head. There's a mad dog on the rampage. If you think he'll save you.
This is our land. Hi, I'm Russell Walker, part of the ensemble of Miss Saigon. Like the other cast members, I've been staying here in Manila for the past few months. It's been quite an education being in a foreign culture and acting for a foreign audience.
Music, we always have music before the show, depending on our mood. Sometimes it's Metallica, sometimes it's, hey, see, we got, what's her name? What is her name? Regina Velasquez, eh?
It's been a completely new experience for me, yeah. I've had to relearn everything from new. Every day trying to get a taxi in Manila is a bit of a struggle.
For the longest time, I thought something was wrong. Because everywhere around me I heard, uh-oh, uh-oh. And I thought, what? What? They're just saying yes. So like, for instance, in the hotel, if I needed something, I would say, I need to use the computer, and they go, uh-oh. What? Is it not working? I'd like to order a jumbo frankfurter. Uh-oh. What? They're contaminated today, you know.
I went to Baguio for a couple of days. The journey there was probably the worst 12 hours of my life. And we were told it was going to be 6 hours, and it turned out to be 12 hours. And driving up through the mountains where there's, you know, you're that far away from falling over a ravine into a 1,000-foot drop. You know, it's kind of scary in bad weather. But once we got there, you know, we had a couple of days to recuperate, and it was nice.
It was also a big surprise for us just to see how much the Filipinos loved this musical.
You who I cradled in my arms, asking as little as you can.
The minute I landed here, I think I understood it. From everybody's mouth, from the hotel to the taxi driver to the Miss Saigon, Miss Saigon, Miss Saigon. I'm like, oh, wow.
And everybody knows all the songs, everybody knows everything. They've seen it 100 times, they've traveled everywhere to see it. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
You didn't ask me to be born. Why should you learn of war or pain? To make sure you're not hurt again. I swear I'll give my life for you.
In America, the visual image of the show is so exotic and so, you know, oh, guy on a bike with a coolie hat and a... Here you see guys on bikes all the time. You see a scooter going down the street, and, you know, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, you saw Marines with helmets and guns walking around, you know, at the Air Force Base, whatever. I think the audience here then can then go to the next level and embrace the love story, embrace the engineer's journey, embrace Kim's journey, embrace Chris's journey. As opposed to in the States and in London and in the Western world, I think they have to wade through all of the other visual images and all that stuff.
Right here, please. By order of the old man, the embassy will close according to plan. I'll stretch a couple rules to issue her pass. That's it, you're ready, nice to have. Who's next? By order of the old man, we're processing the roots as fast as we can. I mean, Vietnamese, they don't
Here,
get me
they
wrong.
know what to fight to get a visa. They know what struggle means. They know what they want for the future of their children. That's something they have to face every day.
I'm the wife of a soldier. Please, let me
Saigon, Mr. Saigon, Mr. Baigon.
This is you. Then you cut. Then you pass. Yes, boss. Then you shoot. Yes, boss. Take out the ball, okay? All right? Go. 1 big strike. 1 big strike.
I think this production has the most Asian perspective in it because majority of the cast is Filipino. So the sensibility is very Asian. And we're performing in the Philippines for an almost entirely Asian audience. It's really the perspective that's more Asian here that gives the whole show a very, very different feel from the other productions in Europe or in America.
One thing that a lot of us found weird in the beginning was the fact that in places where we were used to getting applause, the audience here would be quiet. It took us a while to figure that one out.
There's a lot more response from the audience during the show, abroad. Here, you can tell, and we know, obviously, by the standing ovation at the end, that they enjoy the show the same, and maybe even more. But you don't get it till the end of the show.
I take it as a compliment when they don't applaud. I think that means they're caught up in the story. And then at the end, in the curtain call, that's when they really unleash their gratitude. And that's when you see their real reaction.
Wherever we go, whatever we do. Bet, I can't see a thing.
We get along so well. Will and I are like, hold on, let me show you how close we are. We're about like this. Some people are here and...
Sorry, Will. Oh! Sorry, I was getting ready to rip up my picture of my friend, Ron. Great. We do get along well. We have to. We're in such confined quarters. It's sort of like being in the Army.
We have a wonderful company. I mean, that even the guests, we're talking the GIs, the Caucasians, the British, the Canadians, the Americans. I mean, they've seen that, and I think they appreciate that, you know. We have a good group. It's a well-bonded group.
What happens is, after the show,
nothing of that.
we need time to unwind. So we go somewhere and eat.
That's 5, 4. If somebody has a normal job and works from 9 to I don't know, 6, 9 to 5, they don't go to bed at 7, do they? We just work until 10, 11. We need to go to bed at 2, 3, 2.
Even when we go home, we go straight home. You know, we don't go to bed until 4 or 5. So might as well be out with our friends and, you know, do something productive, like bowling.
Do the bonding.
Yeah.
Even more. We do the bonding after show.
Yes,
Renee.
But bowling is not our only activity. Last December 4th, we had a party for the street children of Manila.
Project of the SAIGON family, and we thought of this holding a Christmas party for poor children, children from poor families, and for them to have a great time, because it's not usual for them to have this kind of a party. I think everybody's having a good time. We have loads of gifts. We prepared a lot of food for them, and especially toys. So, and after eating, they're going to see Santa Claus, and he will be distributing gifts again. And it won't stop from here, because we're going to go to the shelters and the daycare centers, and we'll see what they still need, and we'll try to give them whatever we can.
realize I've only done this, God, 1,600 times.
So right after dressing up
There we go.
the show, I'm ready now. Look up to you. Lord God, our abilities that you've given us, we thank you for it, O Lord, and we bless you. In Christ's name.
Amen.
This is a truly dramatic tale, and it just sweeps an audience up. And you better have a large box of Kleenex at the end of the night.
The dust of life conceived in hell and born in Christ. They are the living reminder of all the good we failed to do. We can't forget, must not forget, that they are all our children too.
Like all survivors, I once thought, when I'm home, I won't give a damn. But now I know I'm caught. I'll never leave Vietnam.
Kasi mga Pinoy mahilig sa ganyan, di ba? Parang kailangan may naaapi, parang nakaka-relate sila.
These are souls in need. They need us to give. Someone has to pay for their chance to live. Help me to rise up alive. And Lord is right. They are the living reminder of all the good we never do. That's why we know deep in our hearts, that's why we know that they are all our children too.
The impact is just an awareness of theater, that theater is, you know, very much a viable industry for anyone, for be it audience members, be it performers, and be it sponsors. I think it shows that we do have an audience. We've been full every night, so we have an audience very much interested in theater, and it's keeping them in the theater after Miss Saigon, keeping them interested with good shows, keeping them entertained and you know, enlightened through theater.
I got girls, 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 hey wow, we gotta see girls. I got girls, can she dance? I'm glad if I'm right, I'm here with me.
Shake it, shake it! What a waste! The pay for my keep. I'm rounding up sheep that live here in Bangkok. I'm disgraced. I can't get ahead. There's nothing as dead as these here in Bangkok.
We're all picking up different things from the international group that has come in. Technical side, it's the Filipinos running it now. We have the supervision of an American stage manager, but it's still the Filipinos that are hands-on. So we're hoping that we learn how to do these things, and that we don't keep a closed mind, that we actually are going to be enriched from this experience.
Hey Joe, try taking a little excursion. You all feel good from a little perversion. Massage requiring total immersion. Oh, wow. From strange positions, they say a person. Oh, no. Drinks are on me. Hey, first girl, it's free. What can I say? You get me for a small extra fee.
I think that Manila will look back on Miss Saigon having been here for these 6 months, and I think they'll say there are great economic benefits, great artistic benefits, and great benefits in terms of the perception of the Philippines in the world.
Don't you see that
when he lost you, spoke to no one for a year. Then he finally said, I'm home now, my life has to go on here.
We're always trying to, prove ourselves that we have the right to mount the show here. Because marami ka narinig na, debates here, and, and you just want to go, it's, this is art, we're just trying to, perform and be proud that it's finally here, because a lot of people are dying to watch this show.
Yes, I know how pain can grow. With the rock you hold on to, is a love miles away. It's so sweet, I already know this story. Take us to the USA.
When we finish here, you'll see him. Chris arrived with me today.
Miss Saigon opened with Filipinos, and it's pretty much closed all over the world, and it's closing with the Filipinos in the Philippines, where it all began.
And I felt that Saigon had finally come home. Yes, it has come home to a people who feel such an attachment to it. And I'm very proud of the fact that we've been able, me and everyone involved in the show, had managed to bring it home to a Filipino viewing public.
I dreamed so hard.
I can't tell her like this.
I kept my faith.
I should not be the one.
And now it's true.
Chris must first see his son. They don't say in the file, there's a woman in love. What to thank her for miles, but you know nothing of. Can I end this journey, please?
Yeah, it's time to go.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Hi, good night. Bye-bye. Kuya doesn't see.
You're not?
Good night.
Bakit?
Ayaw nga. You're trying to do. Come.